Hello once again, this is Andrew with the Play Critically Livestream and the Switch Focus podcast, and there's a new season of Diablo 3 starting tomorrow at this point, and since the Nintendo Switch version of the game is still fairly new, I haven't beaten the game with all the characters yet, so I've decided to just do one new character every season. This season I've chosen to do the Monk, and all I have left is Act 5. Super late at night now, much later at night than I normally stream at, but just circumstances have arisen, so I'm going to be up all night anyway, so I may as well just wrap it up now. So let's do Act 5 of Diablo 3 with the Monk. Here we go.
The day
Evil time.
Diablo was defeated. For a time it seemed we would know peace. But it was not to be. For Diablo's essence lingers in the Black Soul Stone. I cannot destroy the stone, nor allow its evil to remain within the heavens. And so it must be hidden, even from the angels. I pray that it will be enough. You have done well, Horadrim. Your service here is finished. And you should all run. Malthael.
Go! Find the Nephilim!
Brother. Why? The Nephilim will stop you.
No one can.
So that's our new pal Malthael. Character who, really deserves much more screen time than he ends up getting.
I have heard stories of angels descending upon the city of Westmarch, slaughtering man, woman, and child. But to what end? The city's defenders were powerless to stop them. But now, I have come. And I will protect all who can be saved.
There we go.
The Nephilim. Tyrael sent me to find you. Malthael has taken the Black Soul Stone. You must come with me.
People are dying down there. I will not abandon them.
But you and Tyrael need to form a plan. We must find Malthael.
I will meet Tyrael in Westmarch. Go!
It will be done. I swear it.
Now, as I've been playing through the first 4 acts, I talked repeatedly about the troubled development this game really went through. And you can really see that here, too, in Act 5, where they had a lot more time to really do what they wanted. Act 5 is much more ambitious than the first 4 acts, much longer. I'm sure this will take me at least 4 hours to get through, whereas Act 1 took me about 3.5, and that was the longest act of the first 4 that the game launched with. And there's a lot more scripted events here, and just a lot more to explore and look at. It really is a glimpse of the game that Diablo 3 should have been when it first launched, which very slowly over time, with continued patches and especially the Reaper of Souls expansion, the game eventually became. Like, I would describe the launch Diablo 3, one of my biggest disappointments of any game I've ever played, but Reaper of Souls, one of my all-time favorite games.
Stop! Don't go out into the streets.
All right.
It's the end of the world. So many have been killed and the Reapers are everywhere.
Is anyone alive in there?
General Torian was defending a group of refugees at the old Zakharum Cathedral, but they're likely all dead by now.
Wait, you're the monk who saved Bastion's Keep. You'll save us too, won't you?
I promise.
I'll save the city. I can't make any promises on an individual level.
Keep moving. I think we lost her. No, no!
Those with demon blood must die.
There are no demons here. Only innocents.
Defend the church! Defend these vile Reapers!
I'm gonna put Lashing Tail Kick back on. I haven't really been using my Wave of Light all that much. Enemies hit are stunned. Hurl a column of fire that burns enemies in its path. Large roundhouse kick that is effective against a large group of enemies. I'll go with Sweeping Armada. What is the last one? Hand of Yar. Attack enemies at long range, chilling them. I probably will switch to that when I unlock it. Oh. There we go, okay. Looks like there's supposed to be some more enemies here. I don't know where they are.
Ah, we found you.
Tyrael, why is Malthael so intent on this city's destruction?
Because he feeds on death. Every time his reapers kill, he grows stronger. And with the prime evil gone, Malthael believes this is the perfect time to end the eternal conflict.
Humanity has nothing to do with that war.
Though we are descended from angels and...
Hello, National Fun Post Agency.
Malthael sees only the demonic within us.
The church! All the refugees are inside! Follow me! Akarat's bane! This is worse than I feared.
What is that?
A death maiden! Stop her!
Never. Your soul will be mine.
We must do everything in our power to slow the Nephilim down, so that the collection of souls is not interrupted. It is the key to Malthael's victory.
All this must end. Where is Malthael?
I know only that he is not in Westmarch. He could have taken the Black Soul Stone anywhere in creation.
Is there a way to find out why he took it?
There may be. A sliver broke off when Malthael took the Soul Stone. Perhaps by studying that sliver, I can learn his plans.
I will leave that to you while I save this city. Why have the Horadrim returned?
Tyrael rebuilt the Order to help him take the Soul Stone from heaven, and to protect mankind. After all, you can't be everywhere at once, no matter how powerful you are.
Malthael, my brother. He was wisdom, leader of our council, first among angels. And now, he has become this.
Gods rarely change their nature. How could this be?
After the destruction of the World Stone, Malthael's mood darkened, and he left the heavens frequently. Then he disappeared completely. He must have developed a connection, no, an obsession with human souls.
Death is but a step in the cycle of reincarnation, not an end. What can you learn from studying this sliver?
The sliver is still connected to the Soul Stone. As the stone changes, the sliver will change too. Therefore, I can observe what Malthael is doing to the stone, and if we're lucky, even discover his plan.
And that's about all the information you ever get from the sliver.
At long last, a hero comes to save us. That won't bring my wife back, though.
No, it will not.
Westmarch originally grew from the efforts of the great General Rakis to spread his religion beyond the realms of the East. Seized by the superstitions of the Zakarum faith, he drove his paladins relentlessly across the barbaric western lands, subduing the uncivilized tribes he found there. Ultimately, he became king of them all.
My library isn't far from here. I was closing everything up for the day when I heard the fighting in the streets. I barred the doors and then squeezed through the back window to escape. But I'll have to come up with something more exciting when I write my official account, won't I?
Sounds pretty exciting to me.
We stayed to fight, Robert and me. But he fell. And when they started to tear into him, I panicked. I ran.
I am sure that's what he would have wanted.
I keep hearing things. My mind must finally be going.
Is there anything on your mind, Hedrick?
Yes, actually. I was just remembering what happened in New Tristram after the falling star hit. I'd never seen Mira so scared. Leah came by later, telling us there were wounded men at the inn.
And your wife still went to help them.
A couple of your NPC companions have little side quests, and Hadrig's is the easiest. You just talk to him about the strange noises, then you can open up this cellar. And save this guy.
Someone came for me, after all this time.
My friend Hedrig heard you.
Bloody miracle! Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I owe you both.
You owe me nothing. Follow me. It's safe up there now.
And Hadrig, very slowly over the course of the act, takes this guy on as his apprentice.
Remember that noise I heard? It was that lad you rescued.
I'm Bryson. I came here to see your friend.
And now he won't go away.
You saved his life. You must be grateful.
I am. In fact, I'm going to repay Hadrig by helping him.
And I told you to stay away from my forge.
I grew up over by the docks. Not the good part of town, but it's what my parents could afford. They died when the plague swept through a few years ago, within hours of each other. Like they had to stay together. I used to hate them for leaving me, but now it's a relief they didn't have to see all this happen.
Living in Sanctuary sucks.
I know who was responsible for this. It's the poor. They've summoned these monstrosities to take Westmarch for themselves.
And Lord Vermilion here, who is just an asshat, basically.
Did you know there were once 2 moons? Lyria is the one that is no more. I think it's time I told you the whole story of Zai and his master, the god of desire, Dirgist.
The whole story. That would be a welcome change.
Dirge's jewel has appeared again, and the time for secrets is over.
Then tell me if you are a god.
And I'll slowly help Shen with his jewel problem, finally.
Have you been eating enough? I've noticed this about you. When things get difficult, you get very focused. Maybe I'll cook for you. So, if it's all the same, we'd probably both be happier if I didn't.
It does start this Friday, yeah.
You ask, who's to blame for this?
I can't believe we're still alive. And it's all thanks to you. I thought we would die in that foul-smelling place.
Did you grab the jewelry at least?
Harold, those monsters were about to kill us.
Well, I would rather be dead than poor.
Basically, the rich people in Westmarch suck.
Well, the world's under attack and people are dying everywhere. Must be time for us to go on another adventure, right?
It is good to see you again, though it seems like we are only brought together in the worst of circumstances. But I suppose if times were better, we would never have met. For a moment, I heard one of my sister's voices. I could not make out the words.
You miss them very much.
My sisters are gone now, and I am the last memory of a world long since forgotten.
You do not know why your sisters died. Until you do, they will always be close in your thoughts.
The Prophet has foreseen.
Cormac, are you troubled?
For
Too long have I lived with the knowledge that my order tortures its initiates and twists their minds. I need to know how high this evil reaches. If my whole order is corrupt, what does it mean to be a Templar? What am I?
You are a good man who dedicated his life to a cause you believed was good as well.
But it wasn't, was it? The guilty will answer for their transgressions. I swear it.
And if I stay on top of my companion NPCs here, then they all have a little mini dungeon I can go through to help out with their problems, but gotta make sure I'm talking to them between every quest.
What was the Death Maiden trying to do in the cathedral?
She was creating an orb that turns the living into Malthael's death creatures. A single orb can transform hundreds of innocent people every hour, and my men report 2 more of them out in the city.
So, Crucibles, with 2 of them, Malthael has an endless supply of soldiers.
Until I destroy them. Malthael's Reapers are people whose souls were taken by the Crucibles?
Sadly, yes.
And the Death Maidens?
Their story is as tragic as Malthael's. Once the vanguard of his wisdom angels, they followed him down the path to darkness.
Why would the angels do this to us?
And now into the city. This is one of the better designed areas in the game.
After years of my pleading, the Angiris Council has finally agreed to send me in search of Malthael. I will not fail in this, as my master's presence is sorely needed in the high heavens. Owing to Malthael's growing fascination with the humans, Tyrael has suggested I begin my search on Sanctuary.
The city is very large, very explorable, lots of little side activities you can do in the process of completing the main quest. There are more efficient places to grind your way up, but when I'm trying to grind levels, this is usually where I would come.
I have a very bad feeling about this.
Save my friends.
You'll find little houses like this all over the place that just have just a very small story happening inside of it that gives you more of an idea of this city and how it works.
This is all Justinian's fault. Some king he is. Must have fled the city by now. It's time for the people to rise up.
If you turn against each other, Westmarch will fall.
But this is our chance to get out from under the king's yoke.
That's treason, citizen. You best watch yourself.
Thanks for helping, but this isn't over. The king has failed us all. If you don't believe me, read this. His private journal.
How did this come into your possession?
Well, let's just say it's from someone who cares about us common folk.
I'm so weary. Why did you have to die, brother? I was never meant to be king. The nobles threaten revolt to bend me to their will. They will abandon me if I don't keep the peasants in their place. Oh, my position is hopeless.
And basically, over the next little while, things just get worse and worse for poor Justinian. Nobody really acquits themselves very admirably in this situation. New Fists of Thunder rune, not using that. Mantra of Healing, not using that. Okay. Pretty unexciting level for me.
My men are pinned down in the courtyard, fighting revenants. Please help me rescue them. Do you know why this is happening? It's madness!
Get your men to the Survivors' Enclave at the Cathedral. Quickly.
Oh, the plague tunnels. This place can be pretty interesting. As you fight probably a good 1,000 enemies in here, if you have a good roll. Oops.
I cannot carry more.
Clearly I have not been clearing out my inventory very well.
Are revealed. What happened here?
Oh, okay. I was like, that wasn't the whole thing, was it?
Despite all that has come to you still fight.
The order took me. Fighting is in my blood.
One of these should have teleport stone. There it is. Always in the last place you look.
This is not the Reaper's work. Who did this? More dead.
Death to the nobles!
What is going on here?
Revolution! It's time for our oppressors to fall. The king is in the city, but we have a trap waiting for him.
You plot and scheme at a time like this?
What? You're not with us? Then die with our enemies!
Lord Winton, we are thrilled that you have located a surviving regiment of soldiers. With this new force, we can turn the tide and save our city. Your disagreements with the Crown are well known, but we are glad you can put them aside in this dangerous time. Long live Westmarch!
And guess what we find out about Lord Winton when we get there. Assuming I get that side quest.
What you ask is impossible.
Unimaginable!
Oops. Here we go. Here's the first Soul Crucible.
I did not find Malthael on Sanctuary, but I did find humans. Far too many of them. They murder and cheat one another while allowing their brothers to starve. If their true power is ever released, we are all doomed. They have a choice between good and evil, and they overwhelmingly choose.
Actually, I usually play as the Wizard or the Necromancer. The Monk is actually the class I've probably played the least.
That Death Maiden is controlling the Soul Crucible, but not for long.
There is no place for her in our world, so let us help
And this is where you meet Miriam, officially.
Thank you. I knew you would arrive in time to save me.
How?
I am Miriam Jazia, a seer of the Vetchin people. I foresaw our meeting, but I did not see this horror. I have come to help you. There is one crucible left, and if you destroy that, the maidens will not be able to create more. There is no time to waste. We must be.
Thank you for the follow. You know, for a channel as small as mine, every follow I get really counts. So really, thank you very much.
Malthael, he's watching you.
I grew disgusted by humanity during my time on Sanctuary. When at last I found Malthael, I was not surprised to learn that he felt the same way. We will cleanse creation of the scourge that is humankind, and when we are finished, the tragic mistake of Anarius will be gone.
I did play the PC version for years since the game launched, but yeah, now that it's out on Switch, this is where I play Diablo 3.
The Survivor's Enclave. It's not safe for me here.
Nonsense. You'll protect me. And after experiencing what those things do to people, let's just say, I need to see you destroy the final crucible with my own eyes, if I am ever to sleep
I can hear my husband moaning inside his sarcophagus. Please end his suffering. Do not struggle, son, my love. This hero has come to set you free. My thanks, hero. Now we may spend eternity.
Not so much.
To be freed from my torment and have my soul reunited with yours. I can't imagine a more blissful afterlife.
Wait, what is that?
Your eternity ends now.
Nobody gets a happy ending in this game. Nobody does. Inner Sanctuary, not using that. Seven-sided strike, not using that, although I probably should. Yeah, another unexciting level up for me.
It cannot be done.
Flaws are revealed.
Must be just one entryway I'm missing somewhere. Where is it at? It must be to the south, okay. It's always in the last place you look. Always. Here we go, okay. And a second Soul Crucible. Here we go.
You are such the artist when it comes to dispatching death.
Not really record time, but that's alright.
Don't mind me. I'll just be waiting.
I'm just playing through the story for leisure. I'm not really trying to speedrun anything. And achievements, of course. Kind of outgrown achievements lately. I shouldn't say outgrown, but just lost interest in achievements. But I still care about the achievements in Diablo 3. I'd still like to eventually get most of them. Within reason. There are some that I'm just like, I'll never get that achievement. I just accept that.
What was that?
That would be Urzael.
Who?
Urzael is the angel who commands Malthael's forces in this city. I think you made him angry.
So it appears. Let us return to the Enclave and see what progress Tyrael has made with his liver. I need to go back.
Thanks for the Witch Doctor dagger. That's real helpful.
Oh, I can't believe it. My best hammer's gone missing. It couldn't have walked off on its own now, could it, lad?
One of the men needed a hammer. He promised to return it.
Fool boy. I'll never see it again.
I'm sorry, Hadrig.
Get out of my sight.
I don't feel like talking right now.
My mother warned me about the poor. They want my wealth, but they don't want to work for it.
Because you worked so hard to get the stuff you have.
Death creatures. Well, when I'm king, I'll just show them.
I hate that guy. I hate him.
I was telling you about Lyria, wasn't I? Oh, she was so beautiful that Durgus was determined to make her his own. Oh, yes, he pursued her relentlessly, showering her with gifts and attention until she succumbed and agreed to become his wife. But Durgus' jealousy was so great, he hid Lyria high in the heavens, far away from the reach of men and gods.
Even the gods can be possessed of jealousy.
Yes, that was Durgus. Desire was his very nature. Zai was the greatest thief, and he wanted Lyria. He waited patiently for a night when Lyria's path hid her behind the silver moon. For when the sun set, Durgus had to leave Lyria's side, you see, for desire rules the night. He could only watch from below, as she drifted across the ocean of stars. Then Zai climbed, silent as a whisper, into Lyria's palace in the heavens.
Was it love that drove him?
No, but stealing from Durgus would make Zai a legend.
Those who perish without embracing Malthael are eternally damned. But I can commune with our Lord, asking him to grant them a reprieve. Only a simple payment is required.
There's always a grifter taking advantage of the situation.
Could it be that the Prophet abandoned us? Why else would his magic fail to protect us while we slept?
It did not fail. Not for you.
But my sisters died. Why them and not me?
It could have been the will of the gods. It could have been the hand of fate.
I must know which. I will discover the truth. When I left my sister Lysa, I took her magic focus as a reminder. I scryed it today to see if it held any clues, and I found strong traces of the demonic magic that killed her. It reminded me of the Fisherai's magic from before we served the Prophet.
Those mages are long dead, as is anyone who sought revenge on you or your sisters.
When I cast the magic upon her focus, I heard her voice again, and this time, I understood. She said one word. Irena.
There's no easy way to say this, but I have to leave, and I won't be returning.
This is not the time for jokes.
I'm serious. My brother's imprisoned in Kingsport with no way to defend himself, and I must free him.
You will never make it to Kingsport with things the way they are here. Help me save this city. Then you can go.
All right. I'll stay for as long as I can, but only because I know how much you need me. It's time for me to go. My brother will die in the Kingsport dungeons if I don't act now.
A Kingsport prisoner, you say? Those poor devils were all transported to our cells in Westmarch last week. But we haven't heard from the garrison since the attack started.
Edlin, I have to find him.
There's the first companion quest. I wasn't expecting to get it this early.
Right then, this is where they're holding Edlin. Let me do the talking.
Looking for your brother, Lyndon?
Something is wrong.
That is no guard. Damn it all. Thieves Guild always finds who it's looking for. Unfortunately for you, he's our friend.
The Thieves Guild infiltrated the entire dungeon?
You really angered them, friend. Kingsport hasn't forgotten you, Lyndon. You don't know what you did to Nigel.
Edlin! He's...
I'm sorry, my friend.
I never should have joined the guild. He told me, but I wouldn't listen.
The fault is not yours. Your brother was killed before we reached Westmarch.
That dagger looks very familiar.
Take it, and let's go. We cannot stay here.
That's the quest done, but the plot thickens.
Your blame is misplaced, Lyndon. The fault was not yours.
What do you want me to say? That I wish he'd never known me? That I wish he'd had a brother who didn't fail him?
That you will not rush to judgment.
You have no brothers. You've never loved anyone. You can never understand.
And there's still a few more conversations before we find out everything that happens here, but suffice it to say, if Lyndon comes back in Diablo 4, his story will continue.
I have heard that the Grand Maester himself is in Westmarch. It is imperative that I find and speak to him. I will tell him of the sins his order is committing.
I find it unlikely that he would not know.
No, you are wrong. My first memories of being a Templar are of him comforting me, welcoming me to the Brotherhood. I looked into his eyes. He is a good man, I tell you. Today is the day I find out how deep the Order's corruption runs.
If you do not act, you are complicit in their deception, Cormac.
I will do it, even if it means going against my entire Order. I could use a good friend by my side.
How about two?
This is one of our strongholds. I will have my answers soon.
Be prepared, Cormac.
And now Cormac's little companion dungeon.
Cormac! Everyone says you helped slay Azmodan and Belial. They're calling you the greatest of all the Templar.
It's good to see you as well, brother. But I come with troubling news about the Order. I must speak with the Grand Maester.
You're in luck. He's here. Standing orders are to send you to him upon your return. Take this, the Grand Maester's new proclamation.
You've done us all proud.
This proclamation from the Maester, it's damning. He admits his own guilt. How could I have not seen this?
Oh, we all make mistakes. You just make a lot of them.
Cormac is hopelessly naive.
The day of reckoning is at hand. We will rise from the ashes of Westmarch and lead mankind into the light. We shall have recruits by the thousands. Every citizen will be another Templar added to the cause. Once cleansed by the Inquisitors, they will become an unstoppable force.
So basically they're going to do to everybody what they did to Cormac and Jundar. Which I'm sure that'll end great.
Has finally come, and we owe it all to you.
Bring me that whip. It is time to purify this initiate. Stop! How can you do this to your fellow Templar? We bless them with the truth, as we did for you, Cormac. But if the greatest of all Templar wishes them freed, it shall be so. We've been ordered to take you to the Grand Maester as soon as possible. Follow me.
Cormac, the shining example of a true Templar. We have much to talk about.
Yes, we do, Grand Maester. You have betrayed us all, starting with the torment of our initiation.
It was brutal but necessary. I did the hard things no one else would, for the ascension of humanity. I carry the weight of my actions with me always. Are you ready to make a similar sacrifice, Cormac? Will you stand with me and become Meister in due time? I need you.
But... No! Your power has driven you to madness if you think I would help you rule over mankind!
This saddens me greatly, my son. I am sorry. Kill him.
Hey, I'm the only one who is Cormac around here.
Man is a flawed being. Time and again we have seen good men given to temptation. Though it is painful, I have found only one answer. We must cleanse the minds of our recruits, so they will never fall prey to the corruption of the demons, or the blind self-righteousness of the angels.
Breath of Heaven, not using that. Mantra of Conviction, Intimidation, I should look at that. Exploding Palm Rune, not using that.
I dedicated my life to a lie. Everything I thought I knew, it was all in the service of a madman. I swear that every Templar I meet will be freed from the lies of the Order. And if they refuse, I will be forced to convince them.
Enemies affected by Mantra of Conviction deal less damage. I'm not real worried about damage right now. Maybe when I get to Season 18 on Friday, I'll use that particular rune, but for right now, I'm not at all concerned about damage.
Grand Maester, behind the Order's corruption. Deep down, I think I always knew. Perhaps that's why I never felt worthy of the Order, as if I was not a true Templar.
They could not fool you forever. But now that you know the truth, what will you do?
I believe in you and your quest. This world must be saved, regardless of the corruption of the Templar. It is good to fight with you again.
Is this truly the work of angels? I don't understand. How could they?
One group of angels are behind this destruction, but I will destroy them.
Good.
After Corellan's death, the crown passed to Justinian I, through a somewhat convoluted interpretation of Zakharum's scripture. Thus began the Justinian dynasty. Seen as usurpers by many, the Justinians suffered nearly constant challenges to their rule. Finally, during the reign of Justinian III, a full-fledged insurrection broke out in the outlying region of Carthage.
It cannot have been easy to defend this place for so long.
It has been a brutal task. A lot of good men sacrificed themselves to save us. But even that wasn't enough. If you hadn't shown up when you did, we might already be dead.
But now, I am here. Have there been no reinforcements from the rest of the kingdom?
Have you not heard? Cities everywhere are under attack. No place is safe.
Yes, Malthael strikes all across Sanctuary.
I did not know. That is disturbing.
Can I ask you about Deckard Cain?
He was a great man and a good friend. But now he is dead, and we will never know what might have come to pass.
Could one man make such a difference?
Any person can change the course of history.
Tyrael told me of your actions. You killed Diablo himself.
I did what must be done.
I don't know that the world will ever understand what it took to face such pure evil.
It matters not. I serve the will of the gods.
My father was the commander of the Knights of Westmarch. He assumed I would become a soldier, just like him.
But that was not what you wanted.
I grew up on stories of the fearless Horadrim, Tal Rasha, Jared Cain. That was what I wanted to be. My father thought it was all myth. Wasn't he surprised when I actually became one of them?
Look, the sliver is changing.
Malthael is altering the Black Soul Stone.
Exactly. He's been gathering strength from the souls of Westmarch in order to alter the stone. Yet his purpose still eludes me.
He's killing everyone. What more do you need to know?
If we are to stop him, we need to know what he plans to do next.
Well, how about this?
Urzael has done this to finish collecting the souls of Westmarch.
He will die. Where is he?
All I know is that he is in a tower somewhere in the Westmarch Heights, and that he will be quite rude to you. Before you set out to kill him, you should stop by my cart. I can enchant some items for you.
Do you know Urzael?
He is Malthael's lieutenant, much the same way that Iswal was mine. He does his master's bidding without question.
Did Malthael spare you because you were once an angel?
I may be mortal, but I am not Nephilim. I have no demon blood in me, and therefore Malthael does not see me as his enemy.
And I am? Not so long ago, we would have fought together against Diablo himself.
That is of no consequence. You are half demon to him and therefore on the wrong side of the eternal conflict.
He will learn that there are more than two sides. How do you feel?
I have felt pain before, but nothing like this. It is different being mortal. The pain wears on you.
Pain exists in the mind. Meditation and control can lessen it. Why did Malthael take the Black Soul Stone?
I have been thinking on that since our encounter, but every scenario I envision simply doesn't make sense, regardless of what he has become.
He would not have taken it without cause. Tyrael should have destroyed the Black Soul Stone when he had the opportunity.
The Black Soul Stone was made by a man, unlike previous Soul Stones. We had no idea what would happen if we destroyed it. It seemed a better idea to hide it away forever. We had no way of knowing that Malthael was watching us the entire time. How could we?
It doesn't matter now. What matters is what we will do when we get it back.
I don't know. But it's better for us to have the stone than Malthael. If we make it that far, we'll worry about
destroy the thing. Keeping it around is a terrible idea. No good can come of it.
Tell me about Urzael.
Well, he seems to have an affinity for fire. I'd watch out for that if I were you.
Is that all?
Urzael was sent to find Malthael by our friend Tyrael. He blames himself for what Urzael has become. What else can I tell you? I had a vision of death blanketing our world. So I left my people, my family, to come help you.
It cannot have been as easy as you make it sound.
Nonsense. We veteran often receive visions telling us when it is time to find a new family. I've had many in my life. I still love and miss each and every one of them. Except for Jonah. I never really liked that one.
I want to hear more about Jonah, but we never do.
Excellent.
I heard Tyrael is an angel. Why didn't you help him out then?
Who said he isn't?
Alright, now into West March Heights, which is similar to the streets from before, but everything is on fire.
A glorious challenge awaits over there. We have done it.
Two of the Maidens of Flame spawned in the exact same spot. That's really strange. Spirit Stone, nice. Reduces the cooldown of Breath of Heaven by 46%. I have absolutely no need to use Breath of Heaven. That's a healing skill. And I'm almost never in situations where I need to heal right now.
Before they do this to the entire world.
Getting a lot of drops on this character that are items that I just plain cannot use. I'm not sure why. And here's Lord Winton.
It is done. The bloodline of Rakis will once again sit on the throne of Westmarch.
So, you will be king.
My grandmother was the daughter of Coralon, but he would not claim her because she was born of a courtesan, not a queen. With the peasants supporting me, Westmarch will become a place of freedom and equality. The idle rich will be no more. Of course, there will be some bloodshed. We must make a few examples, consolidate our power, a small price to pay.
Westmarch cannot survive any more bloodletting. I will not allow it.
I have spent my whole life preparing for this day.
Let us have at it then, foul traitor.
I have come to realize that my personal feelings are of no consequence. My people are dying, and they need their king. Our resistance starts today, and Lord Winton, of all people, has provided the means. These reapers shall not have Westmarch. I swear my life on it.
So, poor King Justinian, the guy who everybody is trying to kill, is the only person who's really trying to actually do anything about the angels. Because everything in Sanctuary sucks.
For the
My master has begun his work on the stone. Nothing that you do matters. Soon demon spawn like you will be gone forever.
The eternal conflict may come to an end. Today, not that day.
Urzul's kind of a brute enemy. His attacks are really easy to dodge, but if he hits you, it hurts. I've lost a couple hardcore characters to him, just through lag and negligence. Mostly negligence, but come on. People die to lag too, it happens. Like that flamethrower attack. You do not want to get hit by that, trust me. Yeah, on PC I mostly played hardcore. I haven't really gotten into it here because there's so much I haven't done. But on PC, where I'd already done pretty much everything, I was mostly putting my effort into hardcore because it was really the only way I was getting anything new out of the game.
I bear grim tidings, General. The king is dead.
I'd heard rumors, but I hoped. I didn't really care for the king at first, but he turned into a good ruler. Hadn't been himself lately, though. The last of his trusted advisors died recently. Hit him hard, it did. He would have recovered eventually. Now, he'll never get the chance.
Let us fight this evil together.
Something tells me you have lived an eventful life, Miriam.
Oh, I could tell you stories. I actually knew Hedrig when he and his soon-to-be wife traveled with the Vetchin. She was beautiful. She had mystical powers of her own. I taught her a thing or two. Eventually, they were married. It was then that I had a horrific vision of what would befall them. We were friends, but there was nothing I could do. So, I shared my wine. We laughed. We danced. I wanted them to be happy for as long as possible before. She never spoke to me about it, but I think she knew.
Urzael is dead, and the Reaper's hold on this city will end.
You have saved Westmarch, my friend.
But our time is running out. We still do not know Malthael's plan, and with each passing moment, he grows stronger.
That strange woman you brought here believes she can help. She insisted on speaking with you immediately.
I love how Tyrael says, "You've saved Westmarch," and you can still see in the background it's on fire.
Urzael is slain. Westmarch is saved. And yet these thoughts weigh constantly upon me.
The road ahead is not an easy one. We should enjoy victory while we can.
Wise words, my friend. Angels are cursed with a wider perspective of events. To live in the moment is a part of mortal existence I must learn to embrace.
I heard Lysa's voice again, and I could make out more of what she was saying. She is calling out for me, it sounds as though the voice is speaking to me from far away, from beyond our world.
But you saw that she was dead.
Now I am not sure. What I do know is that she is out there, and she needs me.
I'm telling you, Lyria was so lonely, and Zai was so alive and full of life. They shared one perfect night, and after she emerged, blushing. Dirges raced to her side, but Zai was gone. The ruby around Lyria's neck was the only sign that he had ever been there.
A thief and a braggart. Did Zai feel any remorse?
No, not then. He felt pride.
Bryson meant well. You judged him too harshly.
He's a fool, and fools end up dead around here.
Ah, so that is the reason for this display.
What are you talking about?
Your father, your wife, your apprentice. You've lost everyone dear to you.
You keep that nonsense to yourself, or I might forget how much I owe you.
Imperial is helping out. We can do it.
It says I haven't extracted that power yet. I think you just can't extract the power from the Butcher's Carver, but I'll stick it in there anyway. Check on that later, after I finish the act.
Cheldo, I know how to find Malthael, but you will not like what I have to tell you.
That does not matter.
There is only one person who knows how to find Malthael. She waits for you in the Blood Marsh, and you know her well. Adria.
Adria.
Adria is not as you remember her. She is channeling blood magic to prepare herself to retrieve the Black Soul Stone.
What exactly does that mean?
Some things cannot be explained. You must see them for yourself.
Why do I bother speaking with you?
You have no sense of adventure.
They will run when they see us.
The angels do nothing to help us. Why?
There is confusion and dissension in the high heavens. You must remember, Malthael was our leader once.
But no longer. Can you not summon the armies of heaven?
Imperius commands the host, and he will not unleash them on a fellow angel, especially a former member of the Endurer's Council.
Imperius. Of course.
So now we go and hunt Adria.
You're not going anywhere without me.
I'm not? Why?
Someone has to make sure you don't kill Adria before you find out where Malthael is.
Follow me if you like, but Adria will die. I have killed Urzael and destroyed the Reapers. The people of West March can begin to rebuild. Lorath and I now go to the Blood Marsh. Adria is there, and she knows how to find Malthael. Once she tells me where he is, I will end her life.
I know what Adria did to Leah. I want her to pay just— We hid the Black Soul Stone in the deepest part of the Nephilim ruins near here. We thought it would be safe, but Malthael found it all the same.
The Witch Doctor is, or not the Witch Doctor, the Demon Hunter is especially funny during the sequence, because the Demon Hunter is all about revenge, so Lorath following you around and being like, you can't take revenge. The Demon Hunter has no patience for it.
The first time I saw a witch, she burned. Father took me to the town square to see it. Look, he said, that is the face of evil. But she looked like any other woman, and burned like anything else. Then the flames engulfed her. Her eyes found mine, and she laughed.
This is the entrance to the tomb, but someone's collapsed it.
Adria.
It looks like we'll have to find another way into the ruins. What was that? One entrance to the city. There are guide stones littered across the blood marsh that will lead us to the main one. The guide stones are useless to most, but will reveal the correct path to a Nephilim such as yourself.
Run, Adria. I will still catch you.
Remember to get the information we need before you...
I know I'm going to do.
That's reassuring.
My father could never understand. He was born into privilege and wealth, and he spent every moment of his life trying to protect it. I was his flesh and blood, but he cared more about the names in books and the faces of the paintings on the walls than his living daughter.
Not sure what Harmony does. Let's check that out. 40% of your single elemental resistances from items instead increase your resistance to all elements. Okay. Nice defensive buff for a tank build.
You are defeated.
These creatures are usually fairly docile. Whatever Adria's doing...
This is one of the guide stones, but nothing happens when I approach it.
Allow me.
There are 4 entrances to the Nephilim city, each one etched with a sigil. Only the correct one marks the true entrance to the tomb. When you activate these stones, one of the wrong sigils disappears.
So basically this is like an extremely shortened version of the Valley of the Kings quest in Act 2 of Diablo 2. Actually, in that game I usually explore every tomb, all the fake ones and the real one, just because it's a good source of experience, but that's not at all necessary in this game, so I just find the real one and just go straight there. There's a little side area. Let's see what's down here.
Always wanted to fight some of these.
Guess it was just a little tunnel. Nothing too interesting inside it.
Another guide stone to determine which sigil is the correct one. I will not do that. Which sigil marks the correct passage?
Of Yitar.
This is the passage I've been searching for.
Before. We only followed the path that led directly to the tomb.
Your flaws are revealed.
Oh boy, this is the trouble with the ruins of Corvus, is it's very labyrinthine. You often find dead ends after going considerable distances. When I'm into playing adventure mode, I'm usually not real thrilled when I have to come in here, because I know I'm going to be in here for a little while.
These enemies defy all reason. Galadriel will soon be dead at our hands. Not too quickly, of course.
This fight is over. The gods favor me.
Sweeping Wind, Inner Storm. I should look at that. Mystic Ally, an Enduring Ally. Hey, 2 skills I'm actually using. Inner Storm, gain spirit whenever the vortex is at 3 or more stacks. Sweeping damage turns into holy. Well, I'll try it, but I think I'm gonna stick with my increased radius rune. Your Mystic Ally sacrifices itself to heal you. The cooldown on Mystic Ally is increased. And passive skill increases your life per second. Yeah, I don't need that. I'm not in any danger of dying.
Stay here, Lorath. When it's done,
defeated.
I have uncovered an obscure and ancient tome in whose pages is recorded an impossible tale. The secret history of a race called the Nephilim, gods by another name, and their ruined civilization in the West. If this is true, how could all signs of these Nephilim be lost, but for the record of this single tome?
I'm gonna switch my Sweeping Wind back to Firestorm. I don't really feel like I'm getting much benefit out of more spirit. I'm not like I was really struggling with spirit before anyway.
Break beneath the endless tide. Vicious strike!
Rethink your intent.
Ah, just went in a big ol' circle. That's not very helpful.
Your flaws are revealed! This fight is over! Feel the wrath of Yitar!
Hey, finally.
The gods strike through me!
I think that was the get 1,000 environmental kills quest, which is actually pretty easy to do if you just spend a couple hours in the Tristram Cathedral, just dropping chandeliers on enemies, but I haven't really felt it necessary to grind out anything like that, knowing that I would get it just playing the game normally if I just played it long enough.
This fight is over! Your strength fails!
Somewhere around here is the tunnel I'm looking for. Oh, ruins at Corvus. Such a headache.
Your flaws are revealed!
Always in the last place you look. Always. Never fails.
This will aid me. All right, it's him or us.
Dirges was possessed by an all-consuming rage. As Zai had stolen what was most valuable to Dirges, he would take from Zai all that he held dear.
So, Dirges killed Zai.
Dirges took something much more dear than Zai's life. His joy. He killed everyone Zai had loved and held dear. Oh, then he slew Lyria. Her light went out from the heavens. The seas wept, and the waves of their tears crashed upon the shore.
I will not do that.
Let's see where you've been hiding, Malthael.
Adria.
The angels will never suffer us to live. They cannot accept the fact that we may choose our own path. At least demons are not so rigid in their beliefs.
I have made my choice. You will die.
And here's Adria fight. There's a few mechanics here, but the fight's not going to last long enough for that to matter. Like these blood guys, if they touch you or if they collide with each other, they can create problems for you. But fight's over.
Are you really so angry because of me? Diablo will return. I have done what I can to ensure it. He always finds a way. In your heart of hearts, you know.
Oh yeah, there can't be a Diablo 4 without Diablo.
Before she died, Adria conjured an image of pandemonium.
She was searching for Malthael, so he must be there.
I need to go back. Malthael is in pandemonium.
No doubt he has gone to the fortress. Malthael can hold out there until the end of time. He is forcing us to come to him.
He hides, hoping to delay us until he has grown too powerful for me to deal with.
The only way to pandemonium is through the high heavens. Let us leave at once.
According to the records, King Rakus had a strong jaw, hair as black as night, and wore gleaming armor over his muscular... Sorry, what was I talking about?
In the end, Zai trapped Dirges in the ruby Lyria had worn. Zai kept the stone around his neck as a reminder. In time, though, The burden grew too great to bear, and he cast off the stone. His divinity? Everything. Where there once stood a young god, there was now just an old man.
An old man?
So the story says.
Obviously talking about himself, but he'll never admit it.
When I was forced to admit my beliefs were wrong, I was lost. I was afraid I would always feel that way. But instead, a sense of calmness has come over me. I'm no longer at war with myself.
False gods weigh a man down. True faith can only be found by study and meditation. It cannot be beaten into you.
Lead the way to glory.
So, now it's on to Pandemonium? You'll see a world only a few humans have laid eyes on before.
One world is much the same as another.
Ah, the beauty of life is lost on you, isn't it? See? Aren't you happy I didn't tell you beforehand that Adria would turn into a hideous monster?
No.
You always seem so calm. I thought you'd enjoy a surprise or two. Petty details would have just served to distract you.
Alright, now to Pandemonium and the Battlefield of Eternity.
What is this?
Destroy the gate! And Nephilim is here.
Dares to attack us? Malthael is my brother. I fought 1,000 battles by his side, and I care not that he seeks to destroy
You're a
you
peach,
and your
Imperius.
kind. But my brother has grown sick, and he must be put down for his own sake. Yet I have not the heart to do this. And so it falls to you. Come, Nephilim, to Pandemonium.
Malthael tried to keep me from Pandemonium. As I draw closer to him, he grows worried. I will cross the ancient battleground of the angels and demons, where they have fought since the dawn of time, to the Pandemonium fortress at its heart, where the angel of death waits.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Why would Imperius want you to follow him? I don't like this.
There is a siege camp not far from here. Meet me there, and I will show you what must be done. You will need to do better if you're to stand any chance.
He always acts like he's rescuing me there, even though I could totally take those guys. Deadly Reach, not using that. Serenity, not using that. Mantra of Conviction, Disheartened. I should look at that.
A vicious strike.
Demons, the remnants of a long-forgotten battle.
Right. I'm using Mantra of Retribution, not Conviction. I always confuse those two.
That is a siege room. Move with me. Do you see the battering ram below? That is the only way you can breach the fortress gates. But it is useless without the siege rooms that power it. You have one in your possession, but there are two more. You will find them on the battlefield below, imprisoned along with the demons that carried them. Once you have the runes, go to the ram. But know this, Nephilim. Even if you release Malthael from his madness, I will not thank you for it.
Your gratitude means nothing to me.
So finding these 2 siege runes is usually pretty quick, but there have been times where it's taking me a very long time. As the runes have spawned in literally the last place I look. It doesn't happen often, but those memories are distinct, because those were really bad days.
It cannot be done.
And just like the streets of Westmarch area, there's these little sub-dungeons that you can go into that have very small quests to do in them. Just a nice source of experience. I always do them because they only take a couple minutes. One of the few enemies in the game who's just outright immune to a specific kind of damage, which can really suck if you're a cold-spec'd wizard. There we go. Now I'm getting some equipment upgrades. It's been a while. The defense, I would say so.
What you ask is impossible.
This fight is over.
Heck yeah! I'll take that. That's a big damage boost.
Hollow at its core. Somehow, it can hide its body away, disguising itself as a mere portal. Those who pass through it are trapped in a distant world, never to be seen again.
I am returning to...
This will probably be a damage upgrade too. Oh yeah, big one. And Realm of the Banished, just a little sub-dungeon that has a resplendent chest somewhere in it. No real reason to come in here, but what the heck, I found it. Why not?
A vicious strike.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have come in here. There we go. Here's the portals. This usually indicates where the main stuff is at in here. The main things I'm looking for. And I don't even see a resplendent chest, so whatever. Let's just get out of here.
Have enough spirit. This cannot be opened. My strength cannot increase.
Wave the 100 Fists. Assimilation. I think I missed a couple skills there. Each enemy hit with the third hit increases your damage. I don't really need more damage right now. I'm doing just fine. I'll stick with my run speed rune. Although, when I'm in adventure mode, that will be a very attractive rune to have. As I slowly work to push my damage threshold higher and higher so I can get into the upper torment levels.
The ram is here. I must finish collecting this.
Well, at least I found the ram.
Is the Alpha and the Omega of the eternal conflict. It lies at the center of all things, linking the realms of heaven and hell. Long ago, when the angels were young, the aspect of wisdom found the eye of Anu here. He named it the World Stone, and all of heaven swore to protect it.
Not the event I'm looking for, but there's an event at least. I think this is going to be one of those times where finding the siege runes is a lot harder than it really should be. Almost didn't get that one.
This place is like a
There's one of them. This should be another event up these stairs here. Probably the, yeah, the ballistae.
Over here. We found ancient siege weaponry that we can use to create a diversion and draw Malthael's creatures away from the ramp. We can't fight and repair it at the same time. Protect us while we do our work.
One nice thing about this sequence is we do see that the angels actually, for the most part, are pretty decent people. It's just Imperius who's kind of a butthead. But the angels as a whole, at least what we see here, don't really dislike you so much for having demon blood. They just want to get things done.
I'm under attack! Help me! It may drive off the rest of it. Siege weaponry is restored. This will help keep the Angel of Death's minions occupied. You are a noble warrior. We are proud to fight by your side.
Right back at ya. There it is. Siege rune number 2.
Lessen my burden. Beneath the endless tide. We need to go back.
Let's play some new conversations here, but I don't want to be sent off on a side quest right now, because then I'll lose my town portal here. I'll check in with those when I get to the next waypoint.
Rethink your intent.
fails.
What you ask is impossible.
Sometimes Dashing Strike lets you go through walls, sometimes it doesn't. Kind of frustrating. Dashing Strike, Barrage. Might use that. Wave of Light, not using that. Alright, what does Barrage do? The last enemy you dash through is obliterated with a barrage of strikes. I'll stick with my movement speed rune. That's really what I'm using Dashing Strike for. Well, that was a lot of nothing in that dungeon.
Something now inhabits the fortress. I am certain of it. Long have I gazed upon its scarred facade, dreaming of the safe haven its walls offer. But it has changed. The vacant terraces have turned cold. I am so desperate to escape the demons. But whatever is in the fortress may be worse.
Oh, it is. It's much worse. Okay, now I've got a waypoint here.
I thought on what you said, and you may have been right. Can't bear the thought of another friend's death.
I have lived a solitary life, Hedwig. I do not believe it is any easier.
I suppose so.
Leave me alone. I'm getting drunk, and no, I'm not sharing.
I don't drink. Now, go and talk to Hedwig about the dagger.
The dagger. The bloody Thieves Guild killed my brother. End of story.
You are even less persuasive when you are drunk.
And you're even more insufferable. Aha! I knew you'd need my help.
Despite all of this, I find myself with hope for the future.
Does this future involve Arena?
No! No, of course not. I mean, I do find her company stimulating. Yeah, I do enjoy her unique way of looking at things, but I mean, no.
Very convincing.
A suggestion from a friend. Tell her about how you've let go of your vows.
What? Well, you know, I mean, she is quite interesting. So, yeah, I suppose so. Perhaps I should. Maybe. You, mentioned that I should speak with Irena. I don't think I can do that.
You should rethink that. I have seen Lyndon speaking with Irena.
What? That cad? Oh, she's already seen right through his lecherous ways. Surely he'd have no luck. Would he?
Is that something you are willing to risk? Speak with her, Cormac. You will regret it if you do not.
Irena? I, was... Never mind. It was of no importance.
Cormac?
Yes. Well, Irena, I just wish to inform you that, I've left the Order. I'm no longer a Templar, nor bound by their rules.
What are you saying?
I would like it if, I mean, when this is over, would you consider, adventuring at my side?
Of course I would. I would be honored to fight alongside you. I feel as close to you as I did to my sisters.
Oh. Yes, of course. Sisters. Indeed.
That did not go the way he imagined it would.
What shall we fight today?
When this is over, Tyrael will need to replace those who fell in the Tomb of Rakkus. And he'll continue to train and expand the Order of New Horadrim. With everything I've been through at your side, I think I can contribute to that effort. The people of Westmarch are starting to rebuild the city and bury their dead. Their strength is an inspiration. But there are children that witnessed their family being torn apart. Others climbed over piles of corpses to get to safety. What will they make of the world when they grow up? The city has scars that will linger for generations. Deckard Cain wrote much about the Pandemonium Fortress. He kept meticulous notes, drew sketches, and even made some maps. But nothing matches what is there now. The fortress has changed so much since Malthael took over.
Linda left a dagger here earlier. I'm guessing you're behind that.
Of course. Can you tell me anything about it?
Let me look. It's well crafted for a Kingsport blade, and oh, the hilt seems to be hollow. Someone hid a note inside. Here, you should take it to Lyndon.
Guess I can't take it to Lyndon yet. Should be wrapping up the last of the dialogue pieces, though, in town.
I bear grave news, my friend. The Sliver has revealed Malthael's plan to me, and it is worse than I could have imagined. He means to use the Black Soul Stone to capture all demonic essences, even those that linger in human hearts. If the stone is altered to rip the demonic essence out of every man, woman, and child on Sanctuary, they will all die.
We can still stop him. We need to assault the fortress.
Malthael is fundamentally altering the Black Soul Stone. It will now pull in all the demonic essence from whatever plane of existence it finds itself in. But mankind is born of angel and demon alike. Every mortal, save myself, has demonic essence as an intrinsic part of their being. Losing that will rip their body and soul apart. thought I would return here. Pandemonium was our battlefield for ages on end. Demons' blood saturated this ground. Many angels died defending it.
But why here?
Our battles revolved around the World Stone. I had the Pandemonium Fortress built in order to protect it.
When Malthael disappeared from the heavens, why didn't you search for him?
Malthael kept to himself much of the time, and he was known to leave without warning. Eventually, the Council became concerned. We sent his closest followers to find him. Most of them did not return.
Urzael, the maidens, they continue to serve their former master.
It seems so.
You built the Pandemonium Fortress.
Not on my own, but it was my idea, yes. The angels raised it around the World Stone many eons ago.
Do you know any other ways inside? A secret entrance?
I fear not. The fortress is always changing, caught between the forces of heaven and hell.
I don't know what he's talking about where they built it around the World Stone, because the World Stone was at Harrogath in Diablo 2, so I don't know. That's probably something that's explained in one of the books, or it's just a retcon, because Blizzard loves their retcons. It's not really that important. This is one of the cooler sequences in the expansion. I just wish it was a bit longer.
Attack the hook! Gather the hooks! Break those hooks! Attack the hooks! One last strike.
The way is clear.
Here we go, the last area in the game.
This is the wrong hammer, lad. I need the big one.
Right, sorry.
And you, my friend, not a word out of you. Not a single word.
I was only going to offer Bryson a word of encouragement.
You're going to distract my apprentice when he has all this work on his hands? Not on my watch. Now, lad, where's that hammer?
Hadrig's just a big old softy. He won't admit it, but he is. Oh. He has dialogue even though he doesn't have the blue star above his head.
Zai's jewel is here, in Westmarch.
Then we must retrieve it.
Dinner first, then we can go after the jewel. Do not worry. I think it can wait for a little while. Yes, yes, this is the place! The jewel is here!
Shin, come back here!
Shin, where are you? Shin, are you hurt?
Just a little fall. Don't worry! I'm just down here. Everything seems perfectly fine. Wait, what is that?
Oh, nice. Is that a two-hander? Nope, one-hander. That'll be for Cormac then. Yeah, just a fulminator. I've gotten many of those over the course of my time playing the game on Switch. And many more on PC.
Yes, all of this seems so familiar. Like it's happened before. Hey, where are you? You're not lost, are you? If you don't hurry up and come down here, I'll find the jewel myself. Finders keepers! It's so good to be able to show you around again. You know, we really should do it more often, huh? Maybe next time, one of the night markets, huh? I do so love a good walk, don't you? It helps me figure things out, such as what I'd like to have for dinner. Isn't far from here. I can almost taste it. The jewel. There it is. This cannot be! It's been destroyed! Dirges is free!
Zai, is that you? You look different.
I believe you are mistaken. I am Shen.
Zai? Is that you?
Zai is gone, and no more. He's a legend, and a myth. The man who stands before you is but a simple jeweler. I have seen the years, and I have loved and lost, and I have grieved and wept.
Whoever you are, you have freed me, and I am happy to have looked upon your face.
And I am filled with joy to have seen yours once again. Farewell, and go upon this last journey.
Shen, are you well?
Please, I just need a moment alone. Do not worry about me. I will find you later. It feels like a lifetime since I last held this jewel in my grasp. Oh, the memories flood back into me. I was a vain fool in my youth. I know it will be hard for you to think of me so, but it's true, though it was a long time ago.
What do we do now?
Well, Dirges has escaped, and it's more important than ever for me to find him.
Oh, it's good to see you again, Clyde.
Hedrick found this note in the dagger. Read it.
Lyndon, I killed him. Come after me if you must. I'll be waiting. Rhea, my brother's wife.
The woman you love. Why?
I don't want to talk about her. Not until this matter is settled. And I know you and I will see it done.
That's the end of that. Maybe they were planning to follow up on that in another expansion or in another patch, but it hasn't happened, so I don't think it will at this point. Maybe it'll be in Diablo 4, or maybe not. We'll see.
Pandemonium Fortress. When I fought Malthael, my sword passed through him like air. He is in a state of death and life, impervious to physical harm. Your strength is not enough. To defeat him, you must channel the power of death, as he does.
What about the spirits gathered below?
The power of the dead. If you could become one with it, you would be as Malthael is, and you could face him. But you must find a way, quickly. Every moment, thousands die, and Malthael's power grows beyond anything I have ever seen. The fortress feels strange and new to me, though I have come here times beyond count, as its champion and as its liberator. It changes to match the nature of whoever controls it, but I have never seen it like this, while under the control of an angel.
This fortress is a reflection of what Malthael has become.
My son, gods be praised. A monk of Ivgorod come in this time of imbalance.
Patriarch, but I saw you alive only months ago.
And this is interesting. Each character gets their own little spirit guide here.
Patriarch Anisam, it is you. I seek your wisdom. Malthael is protected by the Shroud of Death, and I cannot harm him.
To strike at death itself, you will need more than my power. 3 other patriarchs were slain by Malthael's reapers. Our spirits are imprisoned, unable to complete the cycle of rebirth. Set us free, and we will join our power to yours. Not even death can stand apart from you then.
So the monks gotta free these patriarchs who have been killed by Malthael's reapers very recently, but like other characters, they talk to characters who have been dead for a long time. Most interestingly, I think, is the wizard. The spirit they talk to is actually the sorceress from Diablo 2.
No living soul may touch the god of death, but we are not alive, and what remains of our strength will help you strike him. The other gods stand against him, but only you can strike the blow that will defeat him.
I will not fail you.
There are many spirits gathered here by Malthael. 3 of the patriarchs who were slain by his reapers are here also. We fight against Malthael's control, but without success.
You were alive when last I saw you.
Malthael's reapers slew me and 3 of the other patriarchs when they attacked Ivgorod.
Nephilim. The Black Soulstone journeys through the portal to Sanctuary. Even now it spreads death across your world. And so ends the eternal conflict.
None of the angels seem to get that it's the eternal conflict. It doesn't end. That's why it's the eternal conflict.
Dr. Malthael is dead.
Perhaps there is someone you would like to spend some time with.
Helena thinks of me as a fellow adventurer. Nothing more.
I am sure Miriam could give you some advice on things.
They call me a hero. I slew demons beyond count. I won battles and broke sieges, but it availed me nothing. I know that this war can have no victor, only an eternity of revenge, pride, and hatred. Tyrael does not understand. He cannot see beyond the glory of battle. In time, he may, but that day is not yet here.
It's a very old writing. Tyrael's done a lot of growing since Inarius wrote his journal here. In Diablo's backstory, Tyrael used to be almost as bad as Imperius.
Glorious challenge awaits over there.
Be others who seek a way out of the endless strife. Angels and demons who feel enslaved by our fate. I cannot be unique in all of creation. I know my path. I will find those disillusioned of the war and lead them.
Mantra of Salvation, not using that. Combination Strike. Let's see what Combination Strike does. Each different spirit generator you use increases your damage by 10% for 3 seconds. I'm not real good at switching between a lot of different skills like that. I could probably learn with practice, but I generally prefer one type of generator on each character.
Of your will joined with mine.
We have made it possible for you to reach beyond the veil of death. The rest remains your task. Serve us well, as you always have, my son.
There is a question about the nature of the gods I have wanted to ask you. Would you entertain it?
Ask, my son.
Are the angels gods? Is Malthael the god of
death. They are, but they are not. Gods are in everything. The river, the mountain, in fire. And then there is the One. When patriarchs die, their spirits are released to be born again. Malthael has interrupted the natural cycle of reincarnation.
What will happen to you after?
If you are successful, we will depart, and the cycle will proceed as it always has, and we will be reborn. My new form could be a little more handsome.
And there's an achievement for talking with... doing all the conversation pieces with each individual character's little spirit guide. There are random events that appear here in the fortress, like one of them shows you what happens to the two NPCs that were here in Diablo 2, but they are surprisingly rare. It's pretty hard to get more than one of them on a visit.
Content to fight the same battles and the same foes while everything turns to ashes. Though his victories might last a day, or a year, or 100 years, the war will never be won so long as he and his brothers lead. There is an end to it, but fools like my father are too blind to see it.
Oh, here's a rare one. I'm not sure I've even gotten this one on Switch. This might be the first time. Hard to tell. Wish they would all just drop down at once.
I will not do that.
I was struck down in the third charge. I lay upon the ground, only to wake in chains. I did not know that demons took prisoners. I babbled like a fool about my dreams of escaping this war. My captor freed me and said that we would meet again. Her name was Lilith, daughter of Mephisto.
And I'm probably not going to get through all the journals here, but suffice it to say that Lilith and Inarius wind up leading the combined forces of angels and demons who create Sanctuary and are the parents of the humans and the Nephilim. Pretty important backstory stuff.
I brought myself to Sanctuary, where humans dwell, but the souls did not call me from that place. I searched the breath of creation, always following the sound. Always the sound. And then I understood. Pandemonium, where the world stone once rested.
Prisoner in the battle, an angel whose light was dimming. I brought him to my lair for my amusement, but he surprised me. My touch seemed to breathe life into him. He raved like a madman about how he wished to escape the war. Perhaps I have found someone I can use.
The trouble is, Inarius was a good guy. Lilith, not so much. Lilith ended up trying to use the Nephilim to conquer the demons, and it didn't end well for anybody. Inarius tries to get out of the eternal conflict through passive resistance, just by refusing to fight anymore. Lilith tries to end it by killing everybody.
The souls swirl and writhe. I now know the truth of mortals. All paths lead to death. Whatever their struggles, whatever their triumphs, they die. That is wisdom.
Should be just about there to the final boss. Just around the corner, I think. Yeah.
The souls of man show heaven, or they can enact evil worthy of the lowest demon of hell. The power of such a choice should not rest in the hearts of beings who are here for an instant, then flare and die.
Here we are. Alright.
The Soul Stone is a born sanctuary. The blood of demons will soon be gone from all creation. You will be the last of your kind for a few moments. Death comes, Nephilim.
So, just like Adria, this fight has a few mechanics, but I'm not gonna be in a place where I really have to worry about most of them. Just don't stand in things and I'll be fine. So he just smashed the Black Soul Stone. That's very not good. He just absorbed the power of the Primevals there. And then after I kill him, the Primevals are loose again. So yeah. There are no happy endings in Diablo. Never. The legendary helmet. Oh, just the blind thing. Blind faith. It's an upgrade, but it's not an upgrade worth getting excited about.
Where is the Black Soul Stone?
Malthael destroyed it and consumed Diablo's soul.
Then Malthael's death will have released Diablo. He is free.
You have killed Malthael.
The Nephilim had done the impossible. By conquering death, he had redeemed the angels and saved all mankind. In that moment, with victory at hand, I saw the Nephilim in a new light. He is a hero who can defeat the champions of heaven and hell, and a monk who protects the innocent. But within him beats a mortal heart that will one day be tempted to corruption. On that day, will he have the strength to resist? Or will he be our doom?
So basically Tyrael saying that in Diablo 4, the Nephilim are going to be the bad guys, and it's going to suck. There's Diablo 3 beaten with another class. Let's jump into adventure mode very briefly. See if I can use my Broderick Cube to break down any of the legendaries I picked up in that run. I think I've gotten most of them, but the class-specific ones are the ones I really need to get still. So I got a monk legendary in that one. 3 or 4, I think. But I don't know if I have the marks to break them down. Let's find out.
Dug up some new things for you to take a look at.
I got some.
Access to a wondrous artifact of old, and that's what you want to do with it.
Oh.
Very well. You're magnetic, aren't you?
Shut up, cool.
Want to find more gold out there? Bring a thief with you next time.
Some of these are items I haven't got doubles of yet, but I'm using in some of my missing core ingredients. I need to go to Act 5, so okay. That's enough for right now. So there's Diablo 3 finished with another class. Very exciting. All set to start Season 18 tomorrow. I decided to play with a monk this season, and since I hadn't beat the story mode with a monk yet on Switch, since we're between seasons, seemed like a good time to do it. But my name is Andrew, and I am part of the Switch Focus podcast, where once a week we get together and we talk news and games on Nintendo Switch. Let's see, in our upcoming episode, I know we're talking about Oninaki, and I'm playing Valkyria Chronicles, which is about a year old, maybe older at this point, but I finally picked it up. I'm finally playing it, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit. You can find us on Stitcher, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcast services by searching for Switch Focus, or you can visit our website at switchfocuspodcast.com. You can see all my streams live at twitch.tv/playcritically, or see all my past streams at youtube.com/playcritically. Wherever you're watching this, please like, follow, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again.